There's something timeless about a bottle. It holds more than liquid. It carries a place, a season, a memory, a celebration, a quiet moment, a story waiting to be opened. Welcome to Bottled Stories. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Bottled Stories Podcast. I'm Tim Tibbetts, your host, and with me, as always, is my right hand, Rebecca, who's always on the right. Today, we're going to do a different kind of episode. We're going to go through a couple things that we've been noticing people asking. We're going to talk about a bunch of different topics that revolve around the wine world. First thing, because our glasses are empty, we're going to show you a little trick. This is how to open a Stelvin closure bottle, or more popular known as a screw top bottle. There is a trick to it where you can do it every time. I'll let the sommelier here to lead this one.
I hope I'm picking up what you're putting down here.
Yeah.
So usually you start from the bottom before the screw part starts, so that you just kind of twist it
Up
like that.
Yeah. So the key is to grab the bottleneck below the cap. You always start below the capsule and twist up. And that, if you have a sticky one, or for sometimes there's like a loose capsule,
the
or
whole capsule might move.
some sort of, you will be able to figure all that out, and it will make it easier. It'll make it easier for you to actually open it up if you actually do it from below the capsule and twisting up. Okay, just there you go. First teachable moment of this episode. So
the first burning question.
Let's start with our first burning question, and that first question is, what is an unpopular opinion that you have about wine?
That I have, or I've heard?
Yeah. Well, I guess what you have too. I mean, that's why we're here.
I guess one thing that I hate to hear is, now that we're with this screw top, is, oh, well, it's a screw cap wine, so it can't be good. It must be cheap.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
We have bottles, of Stelvin closure wines that are well over $100 a bottle. Well over $100 a bottle. These are the Stelvin closure is, in my opinion, the best thing that's happened to wine in the last 50 years, other than climate change for people who had trouble getting their grapes ripe. But for me, the Stelvin closure has been the saving grace of a lot of wines, especially white wine, because it takes away the guesswork of is a bottle corked, right? It's that simple.
I think it also, because of the tight closure, corks are porous, right? So you're going to have some kind of air exchange. So without that air exchange, you're getting that wine exactly as the winemaker wants you to have it.
Right. A lot of winemakers, specifically, we'll use this one as an example. Pic Le Cruiser, we know for a fact how they do the lineup. The wines that they are intended to drink a little younger always will come out with a Stelvin closure, and the wines that they want you to lay down for advanced aging, something that they think will require a lot more development through time, they will use a cork closure. Honestly, Stelvin closure wines age beautifully too.
They do.
They really do. They just age a little slower. So to be fair, you probably could drink a Stelvin closure wine 50 years from now, whereas if it had a cork, you'd have to drink it before 10 years has passed. Or maybe not that dramatic,
and
but
maybe
somewhere close to that.
And you don't need to be quite as fussy on the temperature of storage with the stuff?
No, I still think he's the number one enemy.
Yeah.
Heat is the number one enemy, and it doesn't matter because it's the temperature of the bottle. It's not the temperature of the closure. So the temperature of the bottle has to remain under 75 degrees at all times. Otherwise, you really do risk the bottles going bad. So, the Stelvin closure has been a godsend, I think, for white wine.
But it does not mean a bad wine.
No.
not all. It doesn't mean a cheap wine. It doesn't mean a bad wine.
No.
I mean, back in the day, when you were sneaking some wine in high school when you weren't supposed to, and it was what was it? The white shark.
Someone
That
came.
screw cap meant it was not good wine.
Someone came in today and they were asking me if we still could find Blue Nun, and I'm like, oh my god. Do they even still make Blue Nun? I'm sure they probably
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do.
Sure they do, but
Liebenfränkisch. Yeah, there are no stupid questions when it comes to this, and we have to be better at being more inclusive about what people think about wine. Now, I'm not above correcting people when they have misinformation.
yeah, it's
Right,
important
that's
to do that.
part
Yeah.
that's part of the learning process.
Mhm.
But the delivery is important, that you don't make them feel stupid. So, and then there's other things like, I don't know, like a lot of people think that all wine gets better over time,
Mhm.
which is 100% not true. You have to have an exceptional wine for it to age for a long period of time. All wine changes, sometimes daily.
Mhm.
And definitely bottle to bottle, not just like a whole vintage batch, but one bottle to the next bottle. Those bottles are different each, and I mean we just experienced it yesterday. So it's really important that people understand what makes a wine age worthy and what makes a wine, die quickly, or and sometimes we say that expensive wine will age longer, or that's not necessarily what makes an expensive wine expensive. I think it's true for the vast majority of those wines that expensive wines do age longer,
Mhm.
age better.
Mostly because they're a better product. The price point would indicate, mostly, the price point would indicate that it is a
Right.
higher quality.
Now, let's lead this into a different topic here. When is a value of a wine gone? Like, when do you think, like, what's the price
What's
that
the
you
ratio?
would simply never pay for a bottle of wine? To be fair, like, I mean, and this, obviously this answer is different for every single human being,
Mhm.
because, and this to me is the quintessential reason why people are drinking less. It's just that simple. In the 1980s and the 1990s, when I started collecting wine in like 93, we could go to the liquor store and you could buy hundreds and hundreds of wines under $50.
Yeah.
Hundreds, if not thousands, in our local liquor store
Mhm.
that were under $50. All right? You can't do that anymore.
No.
And a lot of the problem that we're seeing is the inflationary reaction. So the price of wine is getting more. It's becoming there. This is the part that kills me about the wine industry. The wine industry is crying poor about, we can't get young people to drink wine. Young people aren't drinking wine anymore. They're drinking less alcohol. Listen, we live in the Bahamas and we see it all the time. Young people are not drinking less. They're drinking differently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they can't afford to take a gamble on something they might not like. That's $50. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't want to do that either. Fortunately, having a wine education has paid for itself 1,000 times over in the amount of money that we've saved by knowing what to look for on a bottle of wine when you pick up a bottle you've never had before. But to me, it's infuriating when people say, well, blame it on young people. It's not young people. It's inflation. It's the fact that nobody has any discretionary spending anymore. Nobody has extra money lying around. Why do you think there's a housing crisis?
Mm-hmm.
There's a housing crisis because people can't afford to buy a home. It's that simple.
Well, and we hear it every day. The bottle price is going up. The pace for the bottles, the sticker price is going up. The closures are going up. power is going up. Every step of costs is increasing. So obviously,
And somebody has to draw a line somewhere.
yeah.
And a perfect example of this is we had a customer, a very large customer. They are a hotel, and we had sourced for them bulk kind of bag in box. They were good quality wines from central Spain that were much better than the swill that they were serving originally.
Mhm.
I shouldn't say that. Wine is wine. I shouldn't say that, but it wasn't great. It was not very good quality, and we replaced it with a very good quality wine.
And it increased the quality of the
Increased the
product.
amount of product that they were moving. It increased the quality of the guest experience. They had numerous improvements in the satisfaction surveys that they would do. That wine went up this year for the first time in 7 years. The price went up 60 cents per liter.
The increase was 60 cents.
The increase was
Yeah.
60 cents per liter, not per bottle, per liter. 60 cents. Those people are no longer a customer of us because they couldn't
was their
accept
threshold.
that was their threshold.
Yeah.
They couldn't accept 60 cents. So that's about the difference of about 42 to 45 cents a bottle increase in price. And they actually know it's less than that because there's 14, just under 14 bottles. 14 bottles in a box that they were doing, and it was about a $10 increase total for the box. A little less than that. So it worked out to be about 30 cents a bottle more. And
but the
couldn't do it.
satisfaction to the price point wasn't
For them, it didn't
acceptable.
make sense anymore.
Right, wasn't acceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, I love a good deal. I mean, who doesn't love a good
Yeah,
deal?
no,
But
absolutely.
I'm not going to. My problem is I have expensive taste.
You're also negating a bit of core problem here, is that 30 years ago you couldn't afford to pay the price that we pay for wine now. Now you can.
Sure.
You're in a much different place in your life where you're earning potential, you're earning power, the amount of money that you make on a weekly basis, while not in any stretch wealthy. We don't have to think about a $20, $30, $40 bottle. We don't question it. We just buy it because we want it.
And to me, it's important actually to have something that's a good quality. So it's not necessarily even the price point. I mean, we have all high quality wines, and I want to drink those and not feel like garbage tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that has a price point.
Yeah. I mean, everybody that we have in our portfolio is operating organically. So we and all with very low residual sugar. So we end up having a much better tomorrow than people who are drinking, lesser quality wines that are full of additives and chemicals. And everybody we deal with pretty much is low intervention. So anytime you add something more to the wine, it's adding more to your chances of getting hangover or a headache. Yeah, I mean, I think money is the core root of why people are drinking less. The other one, which we've discussed before on this channel, is that wine is it's a social drink, and people are much less social than they have ever been in history, mostly due to cell phones. Having a phone in your hand all the time, we see it all the time. People at a whole table at the restaurant, like 6 to 10 people, and not one talking amongst each other, but everybody on their phone. And you can't enjoy wine in that atmosphere.
Wine
is a social lubricant. And once wine gets people at the table talking, then wine has done its job. It doesn't have anything more to do.
Except for be good.
Except for be delicious. But it's, whether you're talking about the wine or you're just talking about your day, the wine still brought you to the table. And that's all it has to really do. And we're seeing that less and less and less, where people are actually having these conversations at tables. Everybody sits in silence, and there's a lot of awkwardness at tables in our restaurant all the time.
Yeah.
We see it every single day. And that, to me, is probably the most depressing thing that we see in the wine world right now. And it's really got nothing to do with wine. All right, let's move on to another topic. What's our next topic of the day?
How about when people come in and say, "Oh, I don't want I only want a New World wine. Old World wine is it's overrated, and New World wine is better."
Um, so this is a hard question to answer without sounding snobbish, because New World wine is not better. Simply put, it just simply isn't. Um, they're different,
Hmm.
and they're both unique. We love our Argentinian producer. We love our Chilean producers.
Hmm.
We're actually adding Chilean producer this year, which arguably is the best wine in the world.
Yep.
They were voted the number one winery in the world on the San Pellegrino top wineries list, and they are coming to the Bahamas this year. So yes, New World is fantastic. Also, New World, for the most part, um, with really only one exception, um, is the best value. Extreme
Yes.
value. And a lot of that, again, is about economics. And it's about the economics of where the wine is being grown, how much are the people being paid, what's the labor cost, how much does it cost in order to get all of these
And how
things.
far does it have to
And
travel
how far
to
does
get
that have to travel?
to?
Exactly.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, it's actually farther for me to get wine from South America than it is for me to get wine from Europe. And I do pay less in shipping. It takes way less time for me to get stuff out of Europe. But without question, for me, the biggest complete opposite to this is California. There is not a single wine, not one, in California that I would choose willingly over pretty much anything in California, anything in Chile, or anything in Argentina of good quality, and definitely nothing of reputable quality from Europe. I just wouldn't,
Well, that's
because
the style
they're
that we.
so expensive for what they are,
Mhm.
and they're not remotely good enough to charge the price they're charging. It just makes no sense to me. It just makes no sense to me.
Very unpopular opinion among some people.
That's a hugely
But-
unpopular opinion. I mean,
Yep.
the bulk of the people who come to our country, the tourist base, are American.
Mhm.
And American wine is not good for the money you have to pay to get it. And
Especially because of
that's-
our duty structure that we have here.
yes,
Right? You're paying duty on a dollar value. So if you're starting with a $100 bottle of wine in California, by the time you truck it here or get it here and then pay duty on it,
yeah,
that increases the price
yeah.
point.
And I mean, American wine in California, if you're sitting in California, those wines are a fraction of the cost of what they are when they get here, right?
Mhm.
Fraction.
Mhm.
They're still too expensive for what they are actually offering. If you took exactly comparable quality, say Napa Cab, Bordeaux, put them side by side. In a blind taste, 99% of the time, people are going to pick Bordeaux. 99% of the time. We've done it hundreds of times. Hundreds of times. In a blind taste, when they can't see the label and they don't know how much it costs, they're almost always going to pick the Bordeaux. And the other kicker about that is the Bordeaux is going to be half the price. Half the price. Unless it's a first growth.
Right.
But even if it's a first growth, it still costs less than a cult Cabernet. You know, I'm trying to buy Harlan Estates right now for a customer. It's $3,000. $3,000 to get Harlan to the Bahamas from a decent vintage. Like, that makes no sense.
That is not
For-
accessible.
That's almost that's almost Petrus price.
Yeah.
You know, that makes no sense. I could buy Chateau Lafite or Chateau Latour, Haute Brion, Mouton Rothschild. I could buy any of those for 1/3 of the price. 1/3.
Yeah.
And in a blind taste, you're going to pick those over that every single
Well, I
time.
know I would.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, there are some people who probably don't agree, and that's fine. You know, everybody's allowed to have their opinion. But that's the principal reason why I don't drink American wine for the most part, because it's very expensive for us to get it here. The second one is glyphosate. Glyphosate is a big problem for me. Additives that they're adding into the wines and not being forced to label. There's a lot of carcinogenic stuff being thrown into wine in California, and it really bothers me that they don't have to actually say anything about it. It doesn't have to be on a label.
Yeah.
Every single wine tested since 2010 in California has glyphosate in it. Most have arsenic. I mean, most wines are going to have natural levels of arsenic in it anyway. But 13 of the top 15 most dangerous beverages in the world are California wines, from bulk producers like Barefoot and that kind of thing. And those wines are starting to get into the very dangerous levels of arsenic in the wines. These are things most people don't actually know. They don't understand that.
And you get back to the price point, to value, and what you want.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do you want to get out of it?
Yeah.
We make everything food wise for ourselves because we don't want
to buy pre-made
bad
things we don't
salt
like,
or too much sugar, or so. I mean, we're probably pickier than
and again,
people,
it's just an opinion, right? It's just an opinion, and everybody's allowed to have one.
And we're talking about unpopular opinions today.
There you go. So this is a very unpopular opinion for all of our American viewers, but we've had the opportunity, especially like the James Suckling events and stuff that we go to every year in Miami, and there's a bulk of that is American wines, and we've tried a lot of really good American wine in the past.
Yep.
But the problem for them was that they were twice the price of the wines right next to them that were perfect comparisons. I'm talking about the greatest 100 wines, 100 best wines in the world that year. So you've got all of these California and some other American producers right next to the other producers of the world, Italy, Spain, even Chile, Argentina, France, of course. Bordeaux is a big one. They're all right side by side. And when you ask the price points, people are shocked at how much more money the California wines are.
Yeah.
At that level,
And we've said forever that's such a benefit of our education, is being able to pay
less for better money, for better.
Know what you're looking for.
Exactly. It makes your money go farther. I'd rather buy 2 bottles than 1. That's just simple math. We call that girl math. No, I mean, seriously, I would rather have two good bottles of wine than 1 bottle of equal quality at the same price of the 2. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, agreed.
So, sorry, American wine lovers. We can always try and find you something that is comparable or similar in style, or especially once we get the Vic stuff here. We also have some other really great stuff, high level stuff from Chile, from Ventisquero, that are very much in that kind of vein too. And giving those wines, those high level wines from Ventisquero to sommeliers around the country, they're shocked. They're truly shocked at the quality level that we're talking about here. Absolutely extraordinary wines. And again, a fraction of the price of equal quality wines coming out of the US. So do yourself a favor, shop around, right? And don't be pigeonholed. Don't get your mind focused on only one thing. The wine world is a very large world. It's getting bigger every day.
And I always say, when people are asking, oh, which bottle should I try? I mean, try the 1 bottle. It's not going to last very long. I mean, if you don't love it, then, I mean, you only got 25 ounces of it to get through. Count it as a learning experience.
I can force myself through 1 bottle of wine anytime.
Exactly. Almost. Yes.
But the reality is, you're usually not going to go wrong from a reputable producer from anywhere in the old world. France, Italy, Germany, Spain, Austria, Portugal. Any of those places are all going to produce good reputable producers are going to create really great wine, and usually at less money. That's why we like old wine, or old world wine. I like old wine too, but that's a different topic. What's our next topic of conversation here? Okay, how about this one? Why is wine intimidating?
Well,
it's just a beverage.
It is just a beverage, but it has a lot of history. It has a lot of information. I mean, if you don't know anything, you look at this label and you're like, I don't know any of those words. And if you don't know what you're looking at.
However, if I pick up a bottle of Beck's or what's another good
Grolsch.
Grolsch, it's going to look exactly the same.
I guess.
But
Yeah.
people aren't afraid to order a German beer. Why are they afraid to order an Austrian wine? What is it about wine that makes it so intimidating? This is the literally the magical question.
Yep.
I don't really understand why people get so intimidated by wine. I mean,
has the industry created a standard of exclusivity that has made it
yeah, I think so, and I think
feel untouchable, or
and it's come back to bite them in the foot right now.
Sure has.
But I think the bigger problem is that they create this mythical status around wines, and it hurts it. It hurts wine.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not hurting. It's not hurting Domaine Romani Conti, because every bottle that they have is sold out before the juice ever goes in the bottle. At $10,000 a bottle.
Good business
They've
model.
created, they created a mythical thing. And is the wine good? Absolutely. I'm sure it's absolutely extraordinary. Is it worth $8,000 to $10,000 to $12,000, or the 1945 Romani Conti that sold a month ago for $812,500? Is it worth it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In no world could you ever fathom that a bottle of grape juice that has gone bad, basically, it's fermented into something else. In no world can you tell me that there is a bottle of wine that is out there that is worth drinking that is $812,000.
But don't you kind of wish that
You had stupid money like that?
No, but you were able to create a product and a demand and a reputation, and like you're still, it's still the same wine as it was when it was
Yeah, absolutely.
whatever,
Absolutely.
$200 a bottle.
Yeah. I mean, and funny enough,
Kind
like
of
that,
fascinating to
whoever bought that 1945, if they held on to it, if it was bought from the original owner, or even better from the seller, that wine upon release would have been pennies. When it came out in 1945, it would have been less than $1 for sure. With no question, it would have been less than $1. So there's a pretty good return on your investment.
I wish I could age so
So gracefully.
expensively.
I just have
With such value.
I just have a problem with the price of wine.
That sort of wine.
Almost any wine. I have a problem with it. I understand cost of production, cost of goods, cost of whatever. I understand all of the costs. I understand how difficult it is. And that's another reason why we only work with families and farmers.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least when I spend my money on a single family where I know all the members of the family, I feel good that I've contributed to their children being able to go to school and buy their books, and you're putting food on the table of a family that you love and care for. Buying wine from a corporation, I will never understand that. Never in a million years will I understand it.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's fair that I should spend $50 on a mediocre bottle of wine so that a CEO can have his fourth yacht. I don't understand it. I really don't.
Yep.
Now, part of the mystification of wine, sommeliers.
Have they helped or hurt?
Are they helping or are they hurting? And I think that there are great somms out there that are definitely helping.
Yeah.
Like our friend Luigi, who's the wine director at the Cove at Atlantis Resort here in the Bahamas. He is definitely helping by spearheading the new school of wine and beverage arts at Atlantis. And that is such a huge project to take on, to train Bahamian line staff about wine and other beverages as well. But like really, we're really focusing heavily on the wine production. We have been sending producers there to help teach the students. And it's fantastic that, you're seeing stuff like that. But then you see a lot of all of this she foo stuff.
Well, the arrogance, right? Like we don't want the arrogance of the sommelier.
Yeah. And I think it's going away. I think as Psalms get younger,
Well, yes.
the delivery is getting younger, and that's the way it should be, in my opinion.
I remember once at Flying Fish where I saw a gentleman, a guest was reading the wine list, and I went over to him and I was like, hey, can I help? Like, do you need any help with this? And he dismissed me so quickly. And I said, okay, well, I mean, it's my wine list, so I've had the pleasure of trying all of the wines. So if you need any help, let me know. And he chose a bottle, and they finished their dinner, and he asked for me. It's like, can you bring her back to the table? And then he started asking me about the wine. Right. Oh, well, what about this? What's the difference between this and this? And how come you chose this one? And how come? And we had a nice long, probably 15, 20-minute long conversation, but he just so quickly dismissed me.
A, because you looked like you were 12.
Yeah.
And B, you were a woman.
Probably.
Yep.
Yeah. And he was an older gentleman.
Boomer
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well.
Not throwing any shade. Not
No.
throwing any shade. Just the realities, right? Just the realities.
But once he maybe got a couple glasses in and wanted to chat, then we had a great conversation. But I know that there is a part of the situation is people don't want to ask for help, especially if there's a dynamic where they're not comfortable asking who they need to ask.
Yep.
So there's that dynamic. And then you also have probably sommeliers that trying to portray the air of arrogance and
over sophistication.
Right. So they're not making it accessible to all diners or all guests or all
I mean,
consumers.
You're seeing this everywhere in hospitality. It's not just in the wine world. The death of the Michelin-starred restaurants, right?
Yeah.
Think about all of the great restaurants of the last, 30 years or so. Places like El Bulli, the original Noma, all of these great restaurants. They're all closing, or have already closed,
or have changed their concept,
or have completely changed their concept, and.
People want accessibility.
But they also want everything can be experiential without being obscenely expensive. And again, it's all coming back down to the economy, right? People don't have the discretionary cash to be able to throw away money on one experience. They're going to take that same amount of money and spread it out over a whole series of experiences that in their mind probably tallied to a better experience in whole. And I totally get it. I absolutely get why we changed our concept. We used to be that same tasting menu format, really long, drawn out meals. And it was good. The food was amazing.
Yeah.
The experiences were fun. We tried to do a lot of cool entertaining in it. But the numbers just got smaller and smaller and smaller of people who were willing to do it. And it's just not viable.
And in this instant gratification with social media, and people don't have the same attention span either for sitting and eating.
Absolutely.
And having a drawn out experience with serving a wine, or people just want in and out. Let's get on with it.
Yeah. And be able to offer both is, I think, the way to win. No, you don't need a 14-course tasting menu anymore. I don't even understand why they still exist. However, 5-course or 6-course, super cool for a special occasion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The 50-course one bite, that's just a waste of time. It just makes no sense to me whatsoever. Makes no sense to me. Change your menu every day and do a 6-course tasting menu that is actually food that people want to eat. That, again, that's just my opinion.
And we digress.
Being someone who used to prepare food that way, the 14, 15-course tasting menus and longer, those just don't need to exist any longer. And and same with that's the where we started. The sommelier delivery of um, the the mystification of it,
The
the
stuffy
stuffiness.
service. Yeah.
Yes, you know, we like to joke because of our we're Gen Xers, so we tend to really joke about hipsters, and I don't really need a guy in a man bun with a handlebar mustache giving me a pet nat that tastes like a dead mouse. I don't need that either.
Nope.
But at the same time, I would rather that than someone in a tuxedo with his Testament
Yeah.
looking down at me for ordering, $150 bottle of wine instead of a $500 bottle of wine on his wine list. That's just me. So, yay to some Psalms, boo to other Psalms.
Correct.
Let's fix the problem so we say yay to all Psalms.
And my glass is empty, so I guess we got to go find something else.
Oh, there's more in the glass. Speaking of what makes wine fun?
Stories. A great wine, a fantastic pairing. Something different, a learning experience.
I think the more you know about wine, the harder it is for it to be fun. Unpopular opinion.
I feel like that's with anything though, right? Like the more you know, the less mystery is less fun.
Yeah. I mean, I still get blown away by certain bottles of wine. Like this bottle of wine is ridiculously good, but when we go wine shopping, right, that isn't in our own store, we're looking for grapes that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah.
Right. We want to try something we've just never had before. Like absolutely crazy. Like the wines from Armenia that we got from Wine Watch, right? Like that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a crazy good experience. Shout out to the guys in Fort Lauderdale at Wine Watch. Amazing store. If you're looking for something really funky, really crazy, off the beaten path, one of the greatest wine collections in America at Wine Watch. Definitely go and check them out. If you're lucky enough, get on their mailing list so you can take in some of their events.
Tasting events.
This is not promoted by them at all whatsoever. They probably are never going to watch this, and they probably don't even know we're on it. But we love that shop, and we go there quite often when we're in Florida. And then the other one for me is like for us, it's like the restaurant, right? We go to all the time, Casa d'Angelo in Fort Lauderdale as well. Always, if we're there for any period of time, at least one night we will go there. Their service staff is absolutely one of the best I've ever seen. It's all older guys. They're professional career service guys, and they're unbelievably good. Their Somm is really cool.
Yes.
He's super fun, and he has introduced us to so many incredibly good wines that we would not have probably had the opportunity to try otherwise, simply because they were not available here.
Yeah.
And the biggest one for us lately is Tenuta di Terranere, the Sicilian wine from Mount Etna, a red wine made from Norello Mascalese that we were at the restaurant. He suggested the wine. We tried the wine. We called the winery from the table and got the distribution rights for the Bahamas for that wine, which should be here middle of June 26. So like a few weeks from now, that wine will be here. And that's the experience we're looking for. Somebody that just pulls something out, and going down the rabbit hole of Tenuta del Terranere, this is not an unknown winery. I mean, this is a winery that's been in the top 10 wineries in the world for a very long time. They always have at least one wine in the top 10 for any given vintage year. Extraordinary. Those are the things for me that are making wine really fun. It's finding these new guys. And then the other side of it too, I love finding that one surprise that is just so affordable that just blows my mind. Domaine Bel Air, Beaujolais.
Love Beaujolais.
That Jean-Marc Lafont, in my opinion, is the most underrated winemaker in the world. In my opinion. Now, we have a lot of great winemakers in our stable, but I can't buy their wine for freaking €3 or €4 first cost from the winery. I can with some of their wines. And they are so good, so delicious, so Moorish, so just you just never want to stop drinking these wines. They're so good. We have tried for so long to be able to fit it into the
At
portfolio, and
least
thank
4 years.
goodness, yeah, more than 4 years,
Yeah.
probably 6 years. You know, we've been working on trying to get these wines here and finding a way to fit it into our budget. And this year they're coming, and I'm so excited, and I'm actually a little scared that we're probably going to drink all of it. So that's probably not a good thing, but
No, but that's the fun part.
that's the fun part. Yeah, those are the things that make me just get super giddy. I get super like fired up when we find a new producer like that, that is just making wine that is off the charts at a price that you can't comprehend that they're selling the wine at that price.
Okay, so for the regular consumer, what makes wine fun?
I mean, I can't speak for regular consumers since I'm not really a regular consumer, but you know, well, let's put this out. We'll put this out to the people watching. That makes it easier.
There you go.
What makes wine for you? Put it in the comments and leave a comment on this video. And because for us, obviously, we don't really know what makes other people excited about wine. So that's something that we would like to know. Obviously, I think some of what we're talking about makes it fun, but also I'm hoping that it's, you know, finding something new. That's always, for me, the biggest one is finding something new.
Or finding enjoyment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or moments shared, you know, simple moments, memories, creating memories, family, friends, the people at a dinner table. That's always, for me, that's the best part of it. What were the wines you leaned on before you became a sommelier? Before you knew any better?
Well, cheap,
Right?
as we were just talking about. And I think like the beginning palate is a little bit, it was the off-dry Rieslings. I started drinking wine in Niagara region, right? So the off-dry Riesling or the yellowtail Shiraz, those New World fruit bombs, like you know, just the not complex, just good. Well, I don't know if yellowtail was good, but it tasted good as to a new.
Looking back, it's not something you probably want to admit.
Glass yellow label.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Australian Shiraz was a huge thing, and
That's
growing
a
up
entry level.
Growing up in Ontario, in Canada, there was an enormous selection of Australian wine in our local.
I think there still is.
Our local markets, and it's probably bigger now because of political reasons, but we could afford them, and
it wasn't the White Shark with the 3-liter bottle.
Right. Well, I remember when I started. I mean, obviously for me, exactly the same start. I started with off-dry Rieslings in Niagara, and Cave Springs off-dry Riesling was my favorite. Shout out to Cave Springs in Ontario. That was probably the wine that got me started into the wine world, and then it became a series of the jammy fruit bombs, right? So we started obviously with like things like Canunga Hill from Penfolds. And then I got really down the Penfolds wormhole. And I collected, at some point when I had any extra money, I would buy another level higher of the Penfolds wines. And when we left Canada to move to the Bahamas 20 years ago, other than Grange, we had every wine in the Penfolds collection of all their bin numbers. You know, exceptional list of wines. Now, I don't know that I would enjoy those wines anymore. I don't think my palate can handle the big fruit bomb.
Only one way to find it.
Overripe jamminess. I don't think I can really get behind it. But that's not to say that they're all like that either now. I haven't had one in so long. I don't know.
I mean, we loved those, like the Lodi Valleys, Infidels, and the Shiraz.
Big, ripe, jammy fruit.
Exactly.
And then on the white side, because we were living in Ontario at the time, Angel's Gate Gewürztraminer.
That dry Gewürz was just
amazing wine. And then we got in our little starting to get into wine, starting to really be more interested in it. Not Psalms or studying or anything, just getting more into wine. And we started spending more time in Niagara and going from winery to winery and winery. And then we discovered Taz.
Yeah.
And Taz changed everything for us. Getting involved in that, where we started going back over and over and over again, weekend after weekend after weekend, and bringing friends and bringing family and bringing people with us to show them this winery, because everything was just so good that we couldn't get our head around it. And again, this is still a very new wine producer in a very new wine country. Going back and tasting those wines now, they do not taste the way I remember them tasting when I was young.
Yeah.
But he has also branched out into becoming one of the great Burgundy producers with Pascal Marchand.
Yeah.
And their Burgundian wines, which we had the opportunity to taste with Pascal in Paris in February, they're spectacular. I mean, they're absolutely spectacular. And that's what like high-end wine collectors are looking for, was that incredible sense of place. But that all still stems from his love of wanting to have a really extraordinary product to begin with. And that's where we started, was with them. I still would love a bottle of the Cabernet Franc from Taz.
I know.
Amazing one.
Yeah.
Anyway, throw us some more questions. Leave questions in the comments. We'll do another one of these, and we'll answer all your questions and talk about anything that you want to learn about. Until then, we've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Lots of really great videos and great producers coming in the bag. And there's another bottle battle coming up, the Bottle Royale coming up soon. Everyone seemed to really enjoy the first one. And we've got a couple more of those coming up. So until then, when we bottle another story. Cheers.